Tar and Feathers. Then join hand in hand, brave Americans all. By uniting we stand, by dividing we fall. The colonists had rejoiced too soon. Remember, they were feeling excited because Parliament repealed the Stamp Act, so they undid the Stamp Act tax. The colonists had rejoiced too soon. Uh-oh. In 1767, Parliament passed the Townshend Acts. These placed high taxes on tea, cloth, and other British goods. Oh no! So now there's more taxes. Americans were furious. "We won't pay," angry men shouted. "We won't buy anything from Britain." Colonial women refused to wear British cloth or serve tea. Instead, they made rough homespun cloth and drank coffee smuggled in from the Dutch West Indies. Patriotic women swore never to marry a man who bought British goods. And the Sons of Liberty vowed a horrible revenge against anyone who defied the boycott. Tar and feathers. They stripped the offender, poured hot tar over him, and then, to make him look ridiculous, emptied a feather pillow over his head. Feathers stuck to the black tar. Ooh, okay, so I'm kind of now noticing what this picture must be. So this person must have been a traitor, and they have tarred him and then feathered him. He does look a little like a chicken. Feathers stuck to the black tar. The screaming man was carried out of town on a wooden rail and dumped in a ditch. Soon, almost no one would buy British goods. Why not? Because they don't want to get tarred and feathered. They don't want to be marked as a traitor. The British and Americans were already furious at each other when an American ship, the Liberty, was seized by British custom agents on a charge of smuggling. The Liberty was owned by John Hancock, a rich Boston merchant who supported the Sons of Liberty. The news spread quickly. Men raced to the docks. A fight broke out, and the customs agents were beaten up. The British government was outraged at the news. Parliament voted to send troops to get the Americans back under control. In 1768, a squadron of British warships sailed into Boston Harbor. 700 redcoats marched ashore and pitched their tents on Boston Commons. Oh boy. So Britain decides, we need to get those Americans under control again. We must send more troops to manage them. So here they come, a squadron, a whole bunch of British warships sails into Boston Harbor. 700 redcoats marched ashore and pitched their tents. So they just rolled up and they said, "We're here and you're going to listen to us." I wonder what will happen next. All right, let's look closely at some of the illustrations and captions. John Hancock, 1737 to 1793. So that's his birth date and his death date, his years of his birth and death. John Hancock was said to be the richest man in Boston. He was also a loyal Son of Liberty. Even before the Revolutionary War broke out, the British put him on their most wanted list. Ooh. One young man spoke sneeringly of the colonies at a quilting party. The girls grabbed him, stripped off his shirt, poured molasses over his head, which is also very sticky, and feathered him with the tips of cattail plants. Oh, so anybody who speaks out, either saying that they side with Britain or being critical of the colonies, they are getting labeled as traitors now and getting tarred and feathered. Let's see over here. Being tarred and feathered was a horrible torture. It was feared so much that the Sons of Liberty had only to send a cold ball of tar and feathers to someone in order to terrify him. He would change his behavior or leave town at once. So it's like they would send them a threat just to scare them. Let's see. The finest cloth and needles were made in England. When American women decided to boycott English goods, they held spinning bees. The cloth they made was coarse and unattractive, but they wore it proudly. Since black cloth could be purchased only from Britain, almost everyone stopped wearing black clothes, even to funerals. Instead, a black armband was worn over a person's regular clothes. Wow. Interesting. All right. So interesting to learn about the Townshend Acts. So the Townshend Acts, those are sort of what caused a whole amount of upset within the colonies. So the Townshend Acts were the taxes on tea, cloth, and other British goods. And that's what sparked everyone to say, you know what? No more stuff from Britain. We're not going to give them our money. This is ridiculous. We won't buy anything from Britain anymore. Let's see what happens next.